Well, here I am again. I'm glad to be here. I hope you're getting some goodness out of what I am offering. Good morning, first grade. Are you here? Standing up and singing back to me, please. Yes, Mr. Coulter, we are here. Oh, good. The sun, with loving light, makes bright for me each day. The heart, with sacred power, gives strength unto my limbs. In sunlight shining clear, I am reverent. The strength of humankind has so graciously been planted in my soul, that I, with all my might, may love to work and learn. Toward us comes light and strength. From us rise love and thanks. Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. Oh, I like to rise when the sun she rises early in the morning. I like to hear the small birds singing merrily upon their way. Hey, hey, hooray for the life of a Kona kid, tumbled in the sunlit waves. I love that one. Let's see. And then I wanted to sing, I had a rooster and the rooster pleased me. I fed my rooster on the greenberry tree. My little rooster said cock-a-doodle-doo, doodly 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 doo. It's hard to follow that one for me. I had a, what's next? Cat, and the cat pleased me. I fed my cat on the greenberry tree. My little cat said, meow. My little rooster said, cock-a-doodle-doo, doodly 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 doo. I had a dog, and the dog pleased me. I fed my dog on the greenberry tree. My little dog said, woo, woo, woo. That sounds like a big dog. My little cat said, meow. My little rooster said, cock-a-doodle-doo, doodly 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 doo. I had a cow, and the cow pleased me. I fed my cow on the greenberry tree. My little cow said, moo. My little dog said, woof, woof, woof. My little cat said, meow. My little rooster said, cock-a-doodle-doo, doodly 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 doo. I had a horse, and the horse pleased me. I fed my horse on the greenberry tree. My little horse said, mm. My little cow said, rawr. My little dog said, woof, woof, woof. My little cat said, my little rooster said, cock-a-doodle-doo, doodly 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 doo. All right. I love singing and songs with you. I have a tongue twister today. I think I've taught it to you one other time, but since we are trying to work on the sound, the TH sound, which reminds me I better erase this and get ready for that. The TH sound requires you to bite your tongue a little bit. Not too hard. It does tickle until you get used to it. And there's two ways of doing it. You can whisper it, or you can hum it, like in the word this and that. And I thought of another one that whispers thick, thick and thin, thick and thin. You can whisper the whole word if you want. Thick, thin. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. That is made by putting T and H together. Normally, T says T and H says H. But when you put them together, you forget about the T and the H and just say th. So, I'll go this way. And so that's that. So now I have a poem. It's just like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, but instead of Peter Piper, it's Theophilus Thistle. thistle. Do you know what a thistle is? A thistle is a thing that grows. It's actually quite beautiful, but it is pokey, prickery. And it grows a beautiful, there's probably lots of different kinds of thistles, but the ones I know of grow a beautiful purple flower that is so lovely. Auntie Jackie should be on any minute. Let's just check and see if she's not here already so that we can be ready for her. And thistle is spelled with a TH, and the name Theophilus is rather an uncommon name. I think it sounds awfully Greek, doesn't it? Theophilus thistle. So Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter. So instead of Peter Piper, it's Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter. Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted a sea full of unsifted thistles. If Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted a sea full of unsifted thistles, where is the sea full of unsifted thistles Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted? How about if I say it in parts and you try to say it back? I'll say each part twice. And you, the second time, or even the first time, if you remember, you can say it with me. So it goes like this. I'm trying to get Auntie Jackie on here at the same time as I talk to you. Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter. So you can say it now. Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted a sea full of unsifted thistles. Again, sifted a sea full of unsifted thistles. It's complicated because you have to do that sound, S sound, and the full of, and the F sound also. So Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted a sea full of unsifted thistles. If Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted a sea full of unsifted thistles, if Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted a sea full of unsifted thistles, where is the sea full of unsifted thistles Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted? Where is the sea full of unsifted thistles Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted? I just remembered there's another way of doing that one too. You can just say, Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, sifted a sea full of unsifted, oh no, Theophilus thistle, the thistle sifter, thrust a thistle through the thick of his thumb. Ouch! Thrust a thistle through the thick of his thumb. Ouch! And Auntie Jackie is smiling and looking at me, which is always a good thing to have. Good morning, Auntie Jackie. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Mr. Coulter.
All right.
Thank you. I'm laughing, too. I'm more than smiling. I'm laughing at this funny guy. Good morning, first graders. Can you guys hear me okay?
I think they can. Yeah, I think so.
I am at the school. I'm actually in the spot where, if you remember, this is where you would often come for a snack if you were in kindergarten last year. After you came from there, and then I'm turning around, and there's the bathrooms behind me. I'm out here because I have a big discovery I made yesterday, and I wanted to share that with you. I went up to the school garden, and I was poking around because we were talking about insects yesterday. So I showed you this beautiful pincher bug sketch that Auntie Cheyenne did with the body and the eyes and the pincher. And I decided to go looking for more insects in the garden. And does anybody know, do you guys know where you might find some insects in the garden, like guaranteed? Think about where you might find some insects guaranteed. Did anybody say under a rock? Yeah. Did anybody think about the worm bin that we have? We have a worm bin in our garden. If you haven't been there yet, it's because it's the big tub. And we put this big bathtub up on some blocks. We filled it with rocks. We put in a layer. And then we added some shredded paper and some soil. And then we started adding our vegetable wastes. Then one of the students' dad brought us a little family of worms. For 1.5 years now, we have been feeding the worms a little bit of food, adding some paper, and this is a scoop from the worm bin. I'm going to run my hands in it. Oh, it's cold from the night. This is cold. and it's a little wet. It's nice. And if I squeeze it, it's sticky. Oh, we learn about sticky soil when we get into the other grades, and I'll just tell you now. When the worms live in here and they eat all these parts, they are feeling it with their mouths, and then they poop it out. And sometimes it comes back out of their mouths, and it's their little spit that makes the soil sticky and full of structure. And here we have some of these wormy guys. You see them? It's hard to see it, but if you look carefully, and I'll hold this steady, I'm going to go deeper now. Worms really like it cold and moist. They don't like the sunlight shining on them. Here we go. They have gone to the bottom of the pile, and they are eating what they can find left. I'm looking in here, and I'll let you look with me. I'll be quiet while you can see what's in here. What do you notice? What are you wondering? Look at that patch. There they are. When you come in the school garden and you get a chance to look in our worm bin, you will find big bunches of families as though they're having a big party. They probably are. Look at them all. They have found a clump of yummy, moist food right here, and they're eating it. And some of them are making babies together. They're mating. They're putting their ingredients together for their baby worm eggs. And some of them are hatching, and they're eating. There you go. What do you think this feels like on the hand? What do you think that feels like? Ooh, it feels a little tickly. What do you think I'm going to get if I dig in this corner? Oh, you guys, this is fun. I can't wait till you come back to the school and we can go looking in the worm bin together. There's also another insect that's been living in the worm bin. They don't like it when we disturb them. They like it even less than the worms do. And they have baby eggs that they move away. When you disturb them, they run off with their baby eggs. They all get very busy. Does anybody know which insects I'm thinking about? They have baby eggs that they run around with. Here's another worm. The whole colony of them work to move the baby's eggs. That's the ones we call the ants. We had a story about the ants coming to Hawaii. Remember that? Oh, there's one now. They are much faster than the worms, wouldn't you say? And there is a baby ant egg right there. It's a big egg. You know what's funny? The eggs are bigger than the ants. There's another ant. I have taken this out of the regular situation, right? Usually we have a worm bin, and usually we have the earth. So things are slightly different because it's in a plastic bin. This is how I love to explore, just like to wonder what's going on and lead us to some more discoveries. One more digging, and then we'll wrap it up. Oh, I've really mixed it up now. I want you to think about this with me. Is there enough food in here for these worms? That's a good question, right? We don't know everything. We might have to just experiment. There's another baby ant egg. If this looks like fun to you, I highly recommend it that you go out in the garden and turn over a rock. You can use a stick or a spoon. You don't have to use your hands. If you like to use your hands, you're going to feel all the different temperatures and the moisture. Oh, that one was a wiggly one. I find that sometimes when you dig the soil and a worm jumps out, it almost like leaps. I wonder why they're doing that, and I have an idea why they do that. I wonder why you think they do that, and we can share that next week. I will leave you with this beautiful drawing of a pincher bug. And the leaf rubbing, and invite you guys to have some exploring in your own garden, or if you get to go to the beach, look what's around the rocks and under the leaves. Aloha. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Mr. Coulter.
Thank you, Auntie Jackie. Always good. I've been looking at I have a little tiny worm box at my house, and it's I always wonder, they always seem like they're down in the bottom where they shouldn't really be, but I'm guessing it's because it's just not quite wet enough on top, and also maybe too warm. Also, I do have it in the shade, but I think I'm going to put it further back in the shade, even further back. And
Yeah, they love it moisture. You will always find them in like a papaya. They love the moist papaya.
So any like really squishy stuff I can put in my compost, the better, probably. Really wet, squishy stuff. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. I want to share one other thing. Every time I've been planting a garden, and just kind of little by little around, not like a regular like row crop garden, but plants here and there. And every time I've been taking like some of my rotted pumpkins that I have left over from Halloween, I'll just take like a little scoop of that, and then take a little bit of the compost from the compost bin, just a tiny scoop of that, and that usually is full of like larvae. I think fruit fly larvae in my case here in town. And then I put that under the plant. So I transplant a little potted plant, and underneath it I mix up the soil with a little bit of that compost, and then I take a pinch of my worms from the very bottom of my worm bin, because they seem a little crowded anyway. And I think they'd like to have a new life outside of the worm box in a real garden. And I put some mulch on top to keep it cool, and I'm hoping that they love it underneath the plant there. So that's what I've been doing.
Mr. Coulter, that sounds like a recipe.
Yeah, right? Well, I'm a little bit of a cook at heart, so all those years cooking in restaurants and things like that. All right, thanks, Auntie Jackie. Anything else you want to add?
Bye, Cookie.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, that's always fun. And now, let's see if I can end that meeting and go on to some other stuff. So we were going to go to the day and the date, I guess, although the Fairies poem, I want to just say the Fairies poem again that we started learning, some of us started learning. The fairies have never a penny to spend. They haven't a thing to put by. Let's say it together. The fairies have never a penny to spend. They haven't a thing to put by. Put by means save. But theirs is the dower of bird and flower, and theirs is the earth and the sky. But theirs, we'll say it again, but theirs is the dower of bird and flower, and theirs is the earth and the sky. Now the next verse goes like this. And though you should live in a palace of gold or sleep in a dried up ditch, you could never be as poor as the fairies are, and never as rich. So we'll keep on working on that. All right, I guess I will leave that for now, even though it's tempting to work on it some more. And we will do the day and the date right after this. So little announcement, I'm going to try next week to separate out the parts of main lesson. So the main chunk of main lesson when I'm in school will still be the story and the number corner calendar thing, and any drawings. But I'm thinking I'm going to break it into little parts so it's easier to just get what you want. If you're watching this, the whole thing, and you like that, well, hopefully you'll also like this at least as much. So do one video with just practicing saying the days and the months of the year, and counting backwards and forwards and counting by 5s and 10s, and talking about patterns, number patterns. So that'll be one video, and I'll do a new one each week. But I won't do it every single day. And then another video, and again, new each week, once a week, songs and poems and tongue twisters. So all that stuff will be just in one video by itself. And then I might even do an attendance one where I call all of your names. And then movement things, hand claps, like the new shoes things and Miss Mary Mack. So that'll all just be one video, and that one will also be good for the whole week. And then working on letter sounds, a whole video working on just on letter sounds, and then another whole video working on the consonant, vowel, consonant words, basically spelling and doing this thing that we've been doing so you can really learn to read and write and spell and all that stuff. So that'll be its own video. So all those little components will each be separate, and then hopefully there will be an obvious place to sort of have a video that just has the number corner calendar thing, any other math work we're doing, like yesterday when we were cutting up the circles, as well as a story and drawing. So hopefully that'll work out for everybody. And I guess you can let me know if it is or it isn't somehow or another. All right. Yeah, my email is jamiec, JAMIEC, at kppcs.org if you want to get in touch with me. All right, that's my school email. And let's see, Miss Mary Mack. Let's just, oh no, day and date. Here we go, day and date. Let's not belabor this too much. In other words, we're not going to spend too much time on this one. Today is a Friday. Aloha Friday. Friday, comma, November, no, N-O spells no, V-E-R, November 13th, comma, 2020. Today is Friday, November 13th, 2020. Say it with me if you like, please. Today is Friday, November 13th, 2020. The days of the week in English: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and back to Friday. The months of the year starting in November: November, December. New Year, Happy New Year, starting in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and back to November. Days of the week in Spanish briefly: Viernes, Sábado, Domingo, Lunes, Martes, Miércoles, Jueves, and back to Viernes. Call that good for the day and the date. This day, I want to do some counting backwards. We're going to count backwards from 100. Ready, hopefully. 100. This is my 100. Even though it looks like 10, it is 10, of course, but if I count each one of these as 10, it's really 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Each finger counts as 10. Isn't that funny? We can count it as 1 or we can count it as 10. I could count it as anything if I want to. I could say this represents 3 because I've got three little parts of my finger there. One here, one there, and one there. We'll get into counting by threes another time. But, so 100, 99, 98, 97. Use your fingers and count with me. 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 91, 90, 89, 88, 87, 86, 85 fingers, 84, 83, 82, 81, 80, 79, 78, 77, 76, 75, 74, 73, 72, 71, 70, 69, 68, 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, 61, 60. You can kind of hear the pattern. 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, or just fall off your chair. I don't know why I did that. Something different. All right. Ready? Miss Mary Mack, 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 all dressed in black, 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 with silver buttons, buttons, buttons all down her back, back, back. She asked her mother, 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 for 50 cents, 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 to see the elephants, elephants, elephants jump over the fence, fence, fence. They jump so high, high, high. They reach the sky, sky, sky. They never came back, 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 till the 4th of July, lie, lie. That's that. Miss Lucy had a baby. She called her Tiny Tim. No, let's not do that. But I do like doing some tricky versions of those once we really have them nailed down. I've been known to do it with feet and upside down, facing backwards. Do some tricky versions of that. All right, so we did that, and now I want to talk a little bit more about some shapes. So we had these shapes. I don't know if you made these or not. I have 2 big triangles. Oh, look, what happens when I put them together like that? That's interesting, isn't it? And I have 2 small triangles. If I put them together like that, they make a big triangle, or at least a medium-sized triangle. Let's see if they match my other medium-sized triangle. Oh, sure looks like it does, doesn't it? Oh, yes, it does. These 2 small ones are each exactly half the size of this one. And then I have my square, and this one, which I told you the name of. I don't imagine you can remember the name of it yet. It has to do with lines that are parallel, lines that are exactly parallel, like railroad tracks. It's called a parallelogram. Parallelogram. So, and I did just notice just now, if I put my 2 big triangles, I'm going to try it with my 2 small triangles. If I put them together like this, of course, they make a bigger triangle, like I just showed you. If I flip one of them over, I have a very similar shape. In fact, that's even the same size as that one. Those even are exactly the same size. So this parallelogram must be made up of 2 triangles, one flipped one way and one flipped the other way. Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. And then I think it's extra cool. I could make, another shape. I just took one of my triangles and stuck it on the end of my parallelogram, and what did I get now? I think it's called a trapezoid. I wasn't even thinking about this or ready for it. I'm pretty sure it's called trapezoid. And then what happens if that looks kind of like the Sphinx to me. Well, what if I go like this? Oh, that one doesn't fit. All right, how about like this? Ooh, it's still a parallelogram. It's just a longer, skinnier parallelogram than the original. First, I made this one into a trapezoid, or an upside down trapezoid. It's a trapezoid whether it's right side up or upside down. Looks upside down to me like that. Kind of looks like a boat. Now if I do it this way, it looks like kind of like a pyramid with the top chopped off. Oh, look. Now it is kind of looks like one side of a pyramid, doesn't it? A pyramid is actually something you could walk all the way around and see this. You'd see this side you'd see this all the way around. Anyway, I just think it's really fun playing with these shapes. I think it's really cool to make them and carve them up and do different things with them. So you can look on how to make a tangram. You can look that up if you don't want to search back into my videos to find the original one where I cut this up. It's a square piece of paper to start with. I'll give you that hint. We had to make it into a square first. All right, and then you can make all kinds of figures. There's all kinds of cool shapes you can make, and creatures, animals, people, and it's really harder than you might think to see a shape and then be able to put it together like a puzzle, basically. All right, so on your Tom Thumb drawing, I never finished my, oh, and I see it got smeared too. I never finished my paper version here. So, but whether you did or not, I want you to write Tom Thumb on it. I always like to write with blue. It makes me feel, it feels like the best color to write with most of the time. So I'm going to take and I'm going to write Tom Thumb up here. Now I'm going to write it right across the top, but I'm going to write my letters not too big. So if you end up writing Tom and it goes all the way halfway across, you're not going to be able to fit thumb there. But maybe you can just write thumb down the bottom. So if you can write Tom up here in this amount of space, then you can probably fit thumb over there. So that means each letter has to only be that big. So I'll do it on mine. Let's see if I can do it in such a way that you can see. T, 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 ah. Ah, like an octopus, but Tom is not an octopus. No, he's a very small person. T, O, M. And then I'm going to do this thing that I like to do. I choose a different color. I think this time I'll choose orange. And I'm going to make a like a plus sign, and then I'm going to go this way and this way. I'm going to cut it again, and that's my space holder, because between each word really needs to be a space. And a lot of times when kids are writing, they kind of forget. Now I'm going to put my thumb here. Now I'm going to thumb is the funniest word, one of the funniest words. There's a silent B at the end, like the word dumb also has a silent B at the end, which is just weird, of course, but I'm going to put my T really just almost right on top of that space holder there for the word thumb. And you notice that this is not just a T, this is a TH, because this word is thumb. And when my second son was just a little guy, maybe 4 years old, he always said thumb. And his older brother said, it's not thumb, it's thumb. And then that night when he went to bed, he sat there in bed, and I heard him probably 40 times say the word. He was up there going, thumb, thumb, just practicing away. It was just very great, because, if you're saying something wrong, you have to say it right a whole bunch of times to remember. T-H-U, like umbrella, there's the thumb. Well, when I write it like that, that looks like it should be correct. Although most grown-ups are so used to seeing it with a B at the end, it just looks weird without it. But for kids, they'd wonder, like, what in the world? It's not thumb. Thumb? Thumb? Tom Thumb. All right, what happened to poor Tom Thumb here? It looks like he got something thrown at him, stuck on him. I don't know what that is. I'll have to give him some darker clothes so that I can cover that scuff up. All right, looks like a black crayon maybe. All right, what time is it? Okay, 9:34. We have a little time left. I want to do some TH words, not too many. Let's go over here and get a couple of these on the board here. So the ones I thought of so far are thick and thin, because yesterday we did this and that. A couple different colors here. This and that was yesterday. This, I guess I'll just review that. This, and that. Now, I think this would be a good moment for you to get out your notebook or a chalkboard and copy these words into it, because you may as well, right? Why wouldn't you? It'll be a better way of learning it than just watching me do it. That doesn't teach you much. You might remember it if I teach it to you and just do it in front of you, but if you do it yourself, you'll be better off. And if you're going to do it on a chalkboard, you can just erase if you don't have enough space, you can just erase everything but the TH, because we'll do a bunch of TH words. Hopefully I'll think of some more. This and that. This and that. Over on this other side, I'm going to put the ones that you whisper. This one you hum. This. Over here I'm going to put thick, thick. Actually, I'm going to put thin first. There's my when you look at that, and when you write it, say it out loud. Or like igloo. Short vowel sound for the I. Thick. And this word has a C and a K, as if one was not enough. You don't have to say k. You just say it once. Thick. Just like in the all family and the ill family, you don't say ill or all, and add the extra L. Sometimes we just add 2 letters. It seems like it's just for fun, honestly, sometimes, but it does help with the pronunciation, the way that you say it. Thick, and then thin. Oh no, I was supposed to write thin first. What letter is that? What letter is it? N. Thick and thin, this and that. You know, another word that belongs over here in the is what we say when we're grateful to somebody or for something, or just to have good manners. We say thanks. Now it gets complicated. NKS. Or I can just leave it at thank. Or I can put this at the end. There's the ang. Then this one is funny. We don't pronounce the N like a regular N. We pronounce it like a different way. Instead of It's a weird thing, isn't it? Thanks. This, that, that, and the other. The. Oh yeah. The is one of the very best, most important words for you to learn by sight. That means when you see it, you don't have to think about it. You just say the. Practice that. The. Practice that, really. So TH and then say it out loud. THE spells the. THE spells the. One more time. THE spells the. That one you just have to memorize because you can't really sound it out too well. The. This. That. Then. What about then? That's another humming one. Boy, my upper lip is going to be tickled. That. Like elephant. Then. This, that, the, then. What other one can I think of? There. Right, there or them. How about we could do them? The, Another E. And instead of an N, then, them. What letter is that? Them. Thick, thin, thanks. Well, thanks reminds me of Thanksgiving, which of course is coming up this month later. Thorough and thoughtful. Those all have some weird spelling rules, though. Thoughtful and thanks and thank you and Thanksgiving and thick, thin. Thaw. Thaw. How about thaw? That's a good vocabulary word, actually. Thaw. Aw. It doesn't really say thaw. Aw. The aw family is probably another whole family of words we could think of. So we'll leave it at that, I think. I think. It's another one. That goes over here. Think. And it has another one of those funny N sounds. Ing. Think. Wow, it's so fun teaching writing, spelling, reading because I just get to kind of rediscover all these funny sounds and interesting spelling rules and I love words. Words are just they're just fun. It's complicated at first when you're getting the hang of it, but boy, is it really nice little by little to be like, I know how to spell this one, read this one, sound it out, figure it out. Love it. All right, so copy those down, read them back to yourself, practice. Reading all the things that you wrote down, because while it's fresh in your mind, you'll be able to read them. And then take a break, take a rest, go outside, breathe, run, move, and then you can come back and study more, because you can't just sit and study and study and study and study. You'll just turn into moldy, stale, rotten brain bread or something. All right. So now, lastly today, I want to tell you a story about, it's called The Lad Who Went to the North Wind. So there was a woman and her son, a peasant woman and her son who they were very poor. And they kept all their food out in like a food safe. It's kind of like a pantry that's not inside their house. They didn't want, maybe, I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe they couldn't keep the critters outside. They couldn't keep the critters out of their house if they had their food in the house. So they probably had a separate little space outside their house. And he was tasked with going out from the house and going to fetch some meal, or some flour rather. So he goes to fetch the flour, and as he walks out of the flour safe area, the pantry area, the west wind came, the north wind rather, came blowing and blustering through, bringing some winter weather in, and blew away his flour. He looked up at the north wind and said, "Hey, that was my flour. We don't have very much food. Please don't take my flour." So he went back in and got another cup full of flour to bring to his mother to cook their supper. And again, this time the north wind came and blew away his flour. "North wind, why are you taking my flour? Not fair. We don't have enough to spare. It's gone, and now I can't get it back." So he tries one more time. Sure enough, same thing happens. And the boy said, "That's it. Not having it anymore. I'm going to go have to find the north wind and ask him to give me back my meal. I don't like this. He's gone as quick as he arrived, and now I have to go and find him." So he journeyed to the home of the north wind. Journeyed to the home of the north wind. It was a long journey, and when he finally got there, the north wind said, "Well, I don't have your flour, but here, I have something else for you. Since you are poor and you are clearly a lad with lots of fortitude and grit and oomph to go and seek what the north wind has taken from you, I admire that quality in you. Kind of go get him, kind of a gesture that boy had. So here, young man, here is a tablecloth. It's a magical tablecloth, because whenever you lay it out on the table, immediately it becomes full of all kinds of good things to eat. Roasts, yummy vegetables, and fruits, and breads, and pastries, and all kinds of sweets as well. Every time you lay it on the table, it automatically just magically appears all kinds of good food. Well, this lad was heading back home with his magical tablecloth, and he stopped at an inn, a place to sleep that has lots of rooms to rent out. And so he did not have any money, but he did say to the inn owner, "Look, I can provide you a great meal in exchange for a place to sleep tonight." And he laid the tablecloth out, and magically all this food appeared, and the innkeeper took of the food. But then when the boy went to sleep, the innkeeper thought to himself, he's kind of a bad guy. And he thought to himself, well, that magical tablecloth had better be mine. And so while the boy was sleeping, he switched it out for a tablecloth that looked exactly the same, but had no magic in it. When the boy got home to his mother, he said, "Mother, mother, look, I can lay this tablecloth out and it'll magically become full of food." And so disappointing. And his mother looked at him like, better try again. So he goes back to the north wind and says, "This tablecloth is no good. It doesn't work." The north wind said, "Well, I can't speak to that, but here, have this goat." And he gave him a magical goat. All you have to say to the goat is, "Goat, make gold." And the goat just opens his mouth, and instead of going bah when he says bah, all kinds of gold coins fall right out of his mouth. So the boy walked along, got to the same inn, never suspecting that the innkeeper had stolen his tablecloth. And when the innkeeper asked for money, he said, "No problem, here, goat, make gold." And all gold. And so the boy gave the innkeeper some gold. Well, you can imagine what happened next. The gold looked so good to the innkeeper that he thought, I'm going to trade this goat out. So while the boy was sleeping, again, he switched the magical goat for an ordinary goat. And when the boy got home, he said, "Look, mother, look, this goat makes gold. Watch, goat, make gold." The goat said, "Meh," but nothing extraordinary happened. And the poor boy was left to wonder what in the world had happened again. So back to the north wind he went again. "North wind, this goat doesn't work. It's not magical at all. It only worked one time." "Well," said the north wind, "I can't speak to that, but the last thing I have is that stick laying in the corner." The boy said, "What good is a stick going to do?" He says, "Well, this stick, all you have to say is 'lay on, stick,' and the stick will beat whoever it is nearest. And then all you have to do is say 'lay off, stick,' and the stick will stop beating the person." Well, as the boy walked back along the road to the inn, he figured out what had happened to his goat and to his tablecloth. And now he had this stick. Well, he still had some gold from the first goat give, and so he gave the innkeeper one piece of gold, went to his room, lay down to go to sleep, leaned the stick in the corner. But this time he knew. So when the innkeeper came in and reached for the stick, which he figured must have some magical powers, the boy said, "Lay on, stick," and the stick began to beat the innkeeper all by itself and beat him up so badly that this innkeeper screamed and cried for mercy. And the boy finally said, "Will you give me back my goat and my tablecloth?" And he said, yes, of course, just make the stick stop beating me." And so the boy said, "Lay off, stick." And sure enough, the stick did. And the innkeeper, sure enough, brought him his magical goat and his magical tablecloth. And he went back to his mother, and they were wealthy and healthy and happy for the rest of their lives. Now that's my story from today. The lad who went to the west wind. Well, thank you very much for participating in my lesson today, and I look forward to next week trying some different stuff. And I think we'll start talking about numbers in a different and new way next week as well. We'll leave off all this hard work on the spelling and writing and reading, but that means that you must learn all your letters and your letter sounds. So that means practicing by looking at the alphabet, saying each letter in order, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then mixing it up and going in a different order, and then making sure that you know the sound each letter makes, because that is very important. That is what we have covered so far all year long. And if you don't know those yet, that's your job, is to work as hard as you can to finish learning those. And we'll keep doing, of course, some of it as we go. But but we're going to do focus more on numbers next week, and we're going to break apart the videos like I talked about. All right, be well, do good work, and